Long time no see. I am finally back from our incredible recent adventure I'll be posting about very soon. But I wanted to jump in here quickly and actually share some bad news with all of you. I know, no more bad news, right? No more bad news, please. And I really actually am feeling called right now to talk about this because we've recently, actually just 2 weeks ago, got some bad news. And I know the world is going through, and you're probably going through this period of time where there seems to be bad news left and right. Right? There's all these things happen, whether or not you're losing your job or people are getting sick or, the whole world around us is changing. And it seems to just be sort of bad news after bad news. And I really wanted to speak to this because, and also tie this into how this relates to our eating habits and our relationship with food through my own personal story, because the inner work that I've done for myself over the last 4 or 5 years is the reason that I can handle bad news now with such grace and consciousness of choosing how to respond instead of react. So when you get bad news, you can, really flow with it instead of letting it crumble you and completely derail not only your happiness, but your health and your relationships. I mean, I've been there too, where, something quote unquote bad happens and, I've crumbled, right? I've crumbled. I've let it get me really down. I've let it, completely dictate my happiness and how I show up in the world and really what I do, and really be in dark place for months at a time because of this quote unquote bad thing that happened. So I want to speak about this right now more than ever. We're in this period of bad news, bad news, bad news, bad news. And I think it's so important to really take a step back and really think about this in our own life and think about how we can actually begin to handle this bad news with grace and with ease and without it completely rocking our world and crumbling us into just a mess, right? A pile of mess, which I know we've all been there before, and it happens, right? Life is a wild ride. So the first thing that I want to say about bad news, and I'm going to share the bad news that we got. I'm going to give you guys a big life update of kind of what's going on for us. But really, the first thing that we all have to realize is that news is news. Okay? There is no actual such thing as good or bad. Good and bad are actual labels that we choose to put on situations. And you can look at, probably people in your immediate circle, and you can see, them being in a certain situation, maybe getting overcharged at a restaurant or getting cut off in traffic, right? And you can see that person, two people in the exact same situation can respond to things in a dramatically different way. So one person can say, oh, that's really good. I hope that they make it to the hospital in time. Someone who cut you off in traffic, right? What a great thing. And someone else can say, well, that's bad. That's horrible. I can't believe they did that, and get all riled up and ruin the rest of your day, right? So we could be in the same situation, and different people, and based off of our history, our values, our belief systems, where we live, we'll start to label situations and events as good or bad. So one of the things that really impacted me was really realizing that nothing is inherently in itself good or bad. It's just as it is. The world is where it is right now, right? We've got a virus. That's just a fact. It's not a good or bad until we start to label it as good or bad. And this is really take some time to kind of wrap your brain around, especially with a big event like that, but starting small even, right? Is it good or bad that someone is late for dinner, right? Or is it good or bad that, they don't have your favorite salsa at the grocery store? We get to really choose in any moment and really understand that we're labeling things. So first of all, bad news isn't bad news. It's just news. It's just news. It's just as it is, something that's happening. And it's our belief systems, our old thought patterns that actually label it as such and then make up a story about what that means. So it's really all such a powerful mindset game and mindset shift that we can choose to change for ourselves. So when we got this quote unquote bad news 2 weeks ago, there was a moment of time where I was like, really in the badness of it. Wow, this is horrible. This sucks. I can't believe this is happening to me. And then a couple hours later, I snapped out of that, right? And before, that used to take me months to snap out of that. And now, a couple hours later, I was realizing, okay, this is really going to be good. This is going to be so important and powerful for us. This is going to be a really good thing in the end, even though it seems a little bit, uncomfortable right now. And really I shifted into that mindset. And it was really, I'm really happy and proud of how quickly I was able to do that compared to in the past where that would not be my reaction. So you're all dying to know what the bad news was that we got, right? So here it is. And you know what? It is what it is. And like I said, it just took me a couple hours to really switch out of it, which is great. So where we live right now in this amazing place that you've all become accustomed to seeing, this beautiful office that I come to you from, and the beautiful nature and my photos of my garden. And we've really been settling in and loving living here for the last year in this oasis in the woods. And we are renting, and our landlords have decided to move in. So what that means is we're getting kicked out. That is the news. It is just news. We're being told, it's time to move on by October 1st. So we've got a couple months to figure it out, and our landlords will be moving in. This is their retirement home, and we knew that was coming. We knew it was coming in a year or two, just not so soon. So in that moment, I was shocked. I was anxious. I was worried. I was really, really feeling low and panicky. What are we going to do? Oh my goodness, this is horrible. We're not ready. I don't want to move. This is exhausting. All the things. And it was interesting timing because I was actually home alone when we got the news, and I really had to sit with myself and feel those emotions and allow myself to go through the process. And like I said, a couple hours later, I was able to really come out of it and realize like this is going to be such a catalyst for us for what's next. The things that we're working towards, the things that we want. This is going to be great news in the end. And I knew that, and I felt that. And, it still comes and goes, but most of the time I'm in that space where I know it's going to work out. And that's because of these things that I've done to really, for myself in the inner level. So first things first, when you get bad news, remember, it's not bad. It's just news. And you get to choose how to react to it. The second thing that, I want to share with you when this comes up for you, when you notice something quote unquote bad happen or you get some bad news, is to take a step back. So that's exactly what I did. I actually just dropped work for the day. I was finished with my client calls. I got to just step away from my computer. I said, whoa, I need to sit with this. I need to be with me. I actually went out in my garden. I did some gardening. I did some deep breathing. I sat with it. I journaled. I used all these tools that I know really support me when I'm feeling a flood of emotions or when I'm feeling, all of the stuff. And that was a big piece. Taking a step back from the doing and just allowing myself to feel, right? Breathing is another thing, right? These techniques that I'm sharing with you are so powerful when we're in that situation where you've just been rocked. Your world has just been rocked. You've been shaken. And this is how we handle it. It's continuing to do the inner work, but also in that moment, that exact moment, just stop what you're doing, literally take a step back, breathe, meditate, go for a walk, go sit in your garden, talk to someone that you love, talk it out, journal it out, do some yoga, do what you need to do to move some energy and to really allow yourself to be with what it is, right? And let that process through you. And then you get to decide, as I keep saying, whether you're going to react or respond. So what I actually chose to do is even just taking some space as both Ben and I process before actually even calling our landlords, because we didn't actually talk to them when they gave us the news, but we needed a little time to process, the anger, the frustration, the anxiety that was coming up before we actually communicated with them. And this is a powerful tool in any relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship or friends or coworkers. Always giving yourself space to process your emotions first so you can come to a conversation clean is powerful. And now I've had the most wonderful conversation with our landlords, and they're going to make it really as easy as possible to move out, and we're going to leave on incredible happy terms. So, that space is really important. So when you get some news, give yourself space as much as you can. You don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to do anything. You just need to take a step back, okay? This is a really powerful practice. And then you're going to lean in to trust, okay? Trust and surrender. I don't know if you've been following me for a few years. This has been my biggest inner work over the last few years. It's actually, trust has been my word of the year for the last 2 years at least. And it's been really, really powerful in shifting my inner state in any given day. And this was really the tool that helped me really kind of flow into that space of knowing that this is going to be a good thing, is that true trust and surrender of, you know what, what it's meant to be, right? The universe has a bigger plan for me, and it's going to unfold as it's supposed to. And this is really going to be a catalyst for something great. I don't know what it is yet, so that's the trust. And that piece is so, so vital and important. And now, how does this tie into eating habits? I know I kind of put that in the title of this video, and it really does, because when we get these life-shaking moments, right, whether someone passes away or we lose a job or we get kicked out of our house, right, or your whole garden gets eaten by deer, okay, any gardeners out there, you'll know that one, right? Something happens that's just so infuriating or so difficult, you know, it's all this emotional game. And I know I talk a lot about this now. You hear me all talking about emotions left, right, center, because when I work with my clients, I see this is the number one underlying reason that so many of us have dysfunctional relationships with food, whether it's sugar or chips or something else, is this inability to sit with our emotions. And the 6-week program that I actually just wrapped up a couple weeks ago was exactly that, in teaching this a powerful group of women and allowing themselves to really be in their bodies, be with their feelings, and allow those feelings to actually flow through you instead of putting a lid on it, instead of numbing out, right? Instead of distracting. So in that situation 2 weeks ago, I could have very easily distracted myself. I could have watched a ton of movies. I could have, buried myself in work and tried to ignore the quote unquote problem on hand. But instead, I chose to sit back and allow myself to feel what I was feeling, the anger, the frustration, the hurt, the worry, the anxiety, everything that came up for me. It was a whole storm of things, and allowing myself to go through that process. And the more we do that, whether it's good news or bad news or, day-to-day life of stress, sitting with our emotions is one of the most powerful skills we can learn, especially when it comes to our relationship with food, because our choice, and if you're watching this, it's probably your choice too, for numbing out is usually food. It is easy, it is cheap, it is socially acceptable, it tastes good, it gives you a dopamine hit. I mean, why wouldn't we go to food? So when we can really learn to handle things better, emotional resiliency, sitting with our emotions, allowing ourselves to feel, giving ourselves the gift of feeling and loving that is how we really break free and find that healthy relationship with food. And this is the message that I'm spreading in the work that I'm so passionate to do with my clients. And this is just my personal example. When I got that quote unquote bad news a couple of weeks ago, food was not involved in it. Okay, I might have had a carrot or some peas from my garden while I was out there, but it wasn't a tool to numb out. It wasn't my go-to like it used to be. And, this has been life-changing for me. This inner work of really leaning into trust, surrender, stepping back, taking personal responsibility, having my boundaries and really allowing myself to feel and love the fact that I can feel and know that I'm going to be okay through feeling and gaining the tools for myself to actually process those emotions as opposed to stuffing them down have been the most life-changing pieces, in my health, in my mental health, physical health, everything. And this is what I'm so passionate to do with my clients. And actually the very root of what we're going to be doing in my upcoming September program. So if you want to dive into this, if you want to be able to handle, these bad events or bad news, with grace and with ease and learning to really, respond instead of reacting in the moment and taking this step back and all these pieces and the emotional component behind our relationship with food. We're diving into all of that and more in the upcoming Break Free from Sugar group program. So there's still a couple spots left. I love it. We're already 50% full, which is incredible for the September program. And I cannot wait to get started. It's a small, intimate group of women. It's a 10-week program. We're going to be really, really going through the whole journey to sugar freedom together. So we're going to be focusing on this inner foundational work that's going to create lifestyle change. Okay, this is not a fad diet. We're going to be going through, yes, a detox period of sugar and then reintegrating in your new relationship with sugar, and whatever that looks like. And we're going to be doing it all together in this powerfully supportive community. And I will obviously be there as your guide. And we're going to be diving into all of this. And I'm going to be sharing a lot more in that group, very deep behind the scenes in my own journey and my own experience with all of these topics that we're going to be really diving into. And I just can't wait. It's going to be beautiful. So if you're curious to learn more, jump on a free chat with me. So that's how we're doing things. We're getting in the door. If you are curious about the program, let's chat. Free 45-minute consultation. I'll post a link above this video and we can connect. We can see if it's a good fit for you, because it's very important that the women that are in this in this program, to me, are all committed, are all on the right stage of their journey in this path. And I will be 100% honest with you if that is or not. So that's why we need to chat. We need to connect. We need to get together one-on-one so I can get an understanding of where you're at. I can share, obviously, all the nitty-gritty details with you about the program. And if it's something that you're ready to really dive into and ready, this fall to really revamp and start doing this inner work so you can create a lasting change when it comes to your habits, your relationship with food, and your relationship with yourself. We're going to be doing it all, and it's going to be so incredible. So I hope to see you there. I'll post a link to book a free chat with me above this video, and be sure to come and do that in the next week or two before the early bird deadline ends, or we fill up, which is going to be so good. All right. Thank you so much, and I cannot wait to see you guys again soon.